lets me customize.
We're live.
Hey guys, Cat Howard here with Windy Bear in Woodinville, and that over there. Whoops, no, over here. Oops, over here. It's Dan. Dan is he's this way.
Yes. There you go.
For some reason, I'm taking up the whole screen here.
Let's jump into it. We've got sunlight burning right now.
We do have sunlight burning. We're really running late today, you guys. So you guys on TikTok, you can't see Dan, but you'll be able to hear him. And but he's got a few slides he's going to throw up there, and I'm sorry you can't see those because we're also streaming live on Facebook, and we're also starting StreamYard, YouTube. Yes.
Facebook, YouTube, TikTok.
Right.
Okay.
So
ready?
Hopefully everything's a-okay and we're doing good. Oh, I can move my stool back just a little bit. My head is kind of going off your screen there. Let's see. I'm not centered here. Do I need to go this way? Oh yeah, I do.
There you go. Now you're good.
Okay, now I need to I gotta get squared away with my TikTokers.
Okay.
Hi guys, thanks for joining. Okay, we ready?
I'm ready.
You are?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, Dan.
Yes.
What are the interest rates today?
Low.
Oh, really? How low?
Yes.
Make me smile, Dan. Because I tell you, the 8.5 is freaking me out.
All right. Right now, we're looking at 6.99% on a conventional 20% down.
Okay.
Not bad.
Is that somebody with a credit score of like 720, or what are we looking at?
761.
Okay.
But that's what I just ran the model
or higher?
If we were at 700, it's not going to make much difference. Rates have come down a lot. Right? And we're going to get to why they've come down. Yesterday was a great day. Today's a great day. This week has been a great week.
Hi guys, can you still see me? I just got a notification I was disconnected, but I don't think I was. Can you guys, somebody give me a heart or tell me if you guys can see me still? Can you hear me? I think I might have gotten disconnected from, hold on.
TikTok?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I can tell. I got a quick notification that I was disconnected. Mary Ketchell, can you see me? I'm not getting anything. I'm not getting anybody else joined. I wonder if I should just try it again. I do have
Let's give it another try.
Yeah, let me end this one. I'm going to start over. Oh, now it just started working. Okay, I don't think... Okay. End live. Oh, shit. Okay, so I ended it. Okay, let me start over. Dang it. Sorry, guys. This is awkward. I don't know why this stuff can't just go smoothly. It's going to take a second for my TikTok to unload my video there.
That's okay.
All right. Hold on one second. Okay, here we go. All right. Let's try this again. Click that button. Do the live thing. There we go. Go live. Okay.
We're live.
Okay, we're back. We're back,
Hello,
baby.
my dear TikTokers.
That's Dan Mellis with Nexa Mortgage saying hi. Not sure we're actually live yet. It still says loading, but I think we're supposed to be live. I'm not sure. I guess I'm gonna have to keep an eye on this thing for a second. Yeah, it still says loading. Anyway, you can go ahead, Dan. I'll pause you if I need to do something.
Okay, I'm just gonna go through this.
Yeah.
Pretty darn fast. Okay. But rates are down. I've got 6.99, and that's a legit rate, right? We're not talking tons and tons of discount points or anything like that. That's a legit rate. Conventional down, same 6.99. You got a little bit of MI on it. FHA, 3.5% down, 6.6.
Wow.
That's a good rate. You've got VA, zero down. 6.899. USDA. If you're living on the other side of the tracks, going along Highway 9, like the east side of Highway 9, we can talk USDA. 6.915, zero down. So those are good rates. Lots they've been, right?
Amazing.
Yeah, well, they're at least reasonably decent.
Huh.
So let's get to why.
I don't have a Wi-Fi connection.
Hello? That's not good. Huh. And I think we lost Cat. Well, what do we do? Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's ramble through this first part of it. We'll kind of talk about what's gone on because it's been big. It really has been. And hopefully I haven't lost audio because it's not sounding too good. But anyway, let's go through and see what's happened. It's all about the jobs report. The jobs report today it wasn't so bad on the headline numbers. It wasn't good. They were expecting 180K and they came in at 150. So they came in light. But if you look under the hood, it's even worse. It's an ugly, ugly report. And the result is lower interest rates. And somebody let the cat out of the bag yesterday, I suspect, because rates started tumbling yesterday. But anyway, it was an ugly jobless report. And you could see under the hood, almost all of the jobs, other than 10,000 out of the 150, come from education and government. Well, teachers come back every year, and you've got government jobs that were adding like 52,000 or something like that. So when you add it all up, it was just a very weak report. And then to add insult to injury, if you took a look at the birth-death model, it was like the second largest birth-death adjustment in history, like over 400,000 jobs. So if you just go to a normalized type of birth-death model, it actually would probably put you real close to zero as far as the jobs report was concerned. Market looked at it, and the fourth problem was, downward revisions. We keep having downward revisions. So we get these high headline numbers, and then they revise them downwards. Like every single month this year, this has happened. And that's a problem. That's a flaw in the model that needs to be rectified, because this is not going to work for the finance industry going forward. This is not good because we're playing guessing games, essentially. Anyway, so it's just taking a look. This is the what they call GDP Now. It comes out of the Atlanta Fed. And what's interesting is that in the last quarter, you've had GDP Now come from 5.4% in Q3 GDP. It was just a few months ago. And right now we have just in this, and this has happened just in the last week, we've come down to a fourth quarter estimate as of today at 1.216. It's really cratered in the last week. And so you had this cratering effect. You came in with weak job numbers. And the weak job numbers that came in were if you really are rational about it, it's probably weaker than what the numbers are showing, if you want to be reasonable. And all these things are problems. And so it's showing an economy that's weaker than expected. And so what we're getting is what you see on the 10-year charts, where we had a break of the trend line, big break of the trend line, and basically we were sitting at about 458, I think was the last thing I saw on the 10-year treasuries. It's a big drop in the last couple of days, and it was an important drop technically on the charts. So it's like everything is kind of coming together, which to me means we probably found a top at a 5% 10-year treasury. And when you put into your plans, is it reasonable to think that we can refinance from here? I think the answer right now, the answer is yes. Now, as we come down, it's going to get a little bit trickier, but I do think as of right now, the answer is definitely yes. And I think we do have lower interest rates dead ahead. I think it has already started. The starting gun's gone off. And I hear Kat coming back on. I hear you back on.
Okay. I lost my internet. I lost my internet connection across the board. It might be that new construction across the street kind of playing havoc.
So here's what happened. I went through the slides, but I don't think the audio got onto the live stream. So we'll do it again.
Okay. Let me get back on TikTok here. Okay. Hopefully. And now let's try this again. I really don't want it doing that. I just want to go live. Let's just go live. 3, 2, 1. Okay, guys, here we are again. Third time's the charm. Going live. Kat Howard here with Windermere in Woodinville, Washington. Here to talk stats. Real estate stats, real estate investing, all things real estate. All right, just getting set up here. Things swung around. Here we go. All right, my back in business. This is a slow start. I gotta tell you guys, this is a little bit scary because we're losing daylight. At a rapid pace.
Yes.
So I'm not sure how far along we're gonna get here.
We're going to give it.
We're going to give it a go.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to put this quickly in a nutshell, but it's really important stuff. What's happened in the last week is really, really important. So let's walk through this. First off, we'll go through the rates. 6.99 on the conventional, that's a legit rate. Conventional, 10% down, 6.99. FHA, 6.615. VA 6.899%, and USDA at 6.915. Okay, good rates. Let's move.
Good rates, Dan.
Not bad. Let's move on.
That's off to you.
Okay. Yeah, like I have anything to do with it. Okay. So then, let's take a look at today's job numbers. Okay, so I pulled this from Zero Hedge today. They did a good job covering it. Okay, so here's the problem. If you look at the jobs report, it was weak on its surface. And below the surface, it was even weaker. Okay, let's walk through it real quick. They were expecting 180 new jobs. They ended up with 150. It's a 30,000 job miss. Shows that we're accelerating to having more jobs lost as we got deeper into the month. Okay? That's a problem. Next slide. You can see out of the 150 jobs that we got, 10,000 of them were in the private sector. 89,000 were education and health workers, which is basically teachers coming back to work. And 53,000 were new government jobs. So out of 150,000 jobs, 10,000 of them were in the private economy. It's terrible. Okay, so then it gets weaker. We've got a birth-death adjustment that hits the second highest number in history. You take out the birth-death adjustment, and let's say you normalize it to a regular number. The 150,000 jobs basically get you back to about zero with a normal birth-death adjustment. Okay? It's a really weak report. I'm going through real quick, but everything's weak. So here we have the last item I'm going to cover real quick. Downward revisions. The problem with downward revisions is that they've happened every single month this year. It's a flaw in the model. And what's the result? Well, let's take a look also at the GDP Now from the Atlanta Fed. It's gone from 5.4% a couple months ago down to 1.2% right now. That's really weak. We're going the wrong way. And you can see it in the bond market. You got the 10-year treasuries that broke a major trend line. So it's like everything is confirming. So remember about what we were talking about on the phone, but about 6 weeks ago, I was looking at the October employment report, and it came back a little weak, but not too bad. The report I was looking for 6 weeks ago is the one we got today. And I think it is going to confirm that we've got a major secondary top in the treasury. Excuse me. It would be a top from this whole move. Basically, we've had in the last 2 years, and I think we've topped out at 5% on the 10-year treasury, at least for now. So it's this whole week has been a pretty big deal. And that's all I got to say about that. We can now move on.
Okay, so you heard it from Dan first.
Yes. Well, no, not if you've been watching the financial news today. But we're pretty good. We're keeping up on things.
Okay. All right.
But I thought the next segment we go to is does it cash flow? Is that okay?
Oh, can we do the counties first?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
That's why.
Because I want to get to that. I want to get to that. Sorry,
let's start with King County.
All right. Here we go. Okay, King County month supply of inventory 1.5. 33% of sellers set offer review dates. 37% of sellers in King County got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed between October 15th and October 21st. 45% of sellers got under contract in King County within the first 14 days on the market if they listed between October 1st and October 14th. So data looking still strong in King County.
You want to go to Snohomish?
Yeah, let's do Snohomish. Okay, Snohomish County, 1.4 months supply of inventory. 19% of sellers set offer review dates. 43% of sellers in Snohomish County got under contract within the first 7 days on the market, and that's if they listed between October 15th and October 21st. 38, so this number sounds backwards, but 38% of sellers in Snohomish County got under contract within the first 14 days on the market, and that's if they were listed between October 1st and October 14th. And so what that indicates is the market a couple of weeks ago was a little weaker than it was the 15th through the 21st. It picked up a bit. So interesting when things like that happen in the data, but again, they're covering different time frames.
Right.
So anyway, I'm going to do a quick change so I can move on to the other counties. Pierce, then you know. Sorry about that. I am back. Gotta get my little
Hang on
microphone.
just a second here. Oh, you're going with the cream colored turtleneck.
Yeah. Cream turt.
There you go.
Okay. Get my microphones back on. Hopefully I'm not too loud for them this time. Had to download Adobe. What are you doing?
Snohomish County.
Okay, we talked about Snohomish County.
Oh, we did. Okay.
We did. So, you know what we're going to do now, Dan?
Pierce?
We're moving on. Yeah, we're moving on to one of your favorite places on the earth, Pierce County.
I love Pierce County. Yes.
I know you do. I know. Okay. Pierce County. Oh, that's not right. Oh, here we go. Pierce County, 1.7 months supply of inventory. 14% of sellers set offer review dates. 26% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market, and that's if they listed between October 15th and October 21st. 42% of sellers got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed between October 1st and October 14th. So Pierce County, the data seems rather normal, right? So we had 26% of sellers got into contract a week ago within 7 days, and then a couple weeks back we had 42% getting under contract within the first 14 days on the market. So those are still strong numbers for this time of year.
That seems to be real stable for like the last 5-6 weeks.
Yeah, Pierce County is, it's softening a tad, but yeah, it's actually been fairly consistent. They get a fair amount of activity that second week on the market, so sellers shouldn't be nervous about that second week. You're really small chunk of people are getting under contract within the first 7 days. I mean, we've got 23 as of like 6 weeks ago. We're down to 14% now. So, that's the first week. I think buyers are burned out on competing, and they'd rather just, if the property's still on the market on day 8, then they'll go look at it, kind of thing. I think,
Right.
So, okay.
Well, let's see here. Let's move on to Skagit.
Mason's the next one.
Oh, Mason.
Unless I can't read.
Let's go Mason.
Okay. Mason County, 2.3 months supply of inventory. 25% of sellers set offer review dates. Can't read. My printer is fading there. And it looks like 25% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market. So if they listed between October 15th and October 21st. And a whopping 46% of sellers got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed between October 1st and October 14th. And that's Mason County. They're doing fine too, right?
How about Skagit?
Guess what, Dan? I can make you happy now. I got Skagit County in front of me.
My dreams have come true.
2.1 month supply of inventory in Skagit County. 44% of sellers in Skagit County set offer review dates. So they're feeling quite optimistic. 29% of sellers set offer review, 29% 29% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed between October 15th and October 21st. 35% of sellers got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed between October 1st and October 14th. So Skagit County clicking along.
Nice.
Not bad. Should we jump ahead to Kitsap?
Let's go to Kitsap.
All right, let's do Kitsap. Okay. 1.6 months supply of inventory in Kitsap County. 23% of sellers set offer review dates. 24% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed between October 15th and October 21st. 42% of sellers got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed between October 1st and October 14th. Kitsap County.
Nice.
Doing great. Okay, that's the county data. So, one of the things, Dan, I wanted to talk about before we get into, I know we want to do this whole breakdown for this investment property thing. I want to do that too. We've got a great little duplex in Bremerton that ran numbers on a couple days. Well, maybe it was yesterday. I think it was yesterday. I ran numbers on, and so pretty interesting stuff. We definitely want to get into that. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about 2-1 buy downs and how we're using those in negotiations right now in the marketplace. So am I too close, Dan? My head shooting off the top of the. I feel like
it's okay, but it looks a little blurry.
I know. Why is it look foggy? It's weird, right?
I don't know. Do you have a little tissue? Maybe you can wipe the camera.
I don't know that it's the camera. No, it doesn't look like it's the camera.
Yeah,
it's weird, right? I'm getting out of view of my TikTokers now. I can't seem to stay in view on either one of these. Whoops, I'm still off view for TikTok here. All right, I think I'm back for everybody. All right, so
2-1 buy down.
Yeah, so 2-1 buy downs. So when a buyer goes to make an offer on a property that's maybe been on the market for 2 weeks, let's say, so 14 days, sellers maybe reduce price once. Maybe they've done a $10,000 or $20,000 price reduction. And the buyer feels like, it still feels high for this time of year. You can make an offer. You could start at full price if you want to. And you could ask the seller to credit you the cost of a 2-1 buy down. So the cost of a 2-1 buy down is typically, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, but I think it's about 2.5% to 3% of the loan amount. Is that right?
A little bit less, but in the
yeah.
ballpark.
So in there. So you're buying a $1 million house and you want to get a 2-1 buy down. You're financing, let's say $800,000, and that's probably going to look like almost $20,000. Right, Dan? Somewhere in there? 22, somewhere in there. And so that's what you're asking the seller to reduce their price to, essentially, is when you ask them to credit you money for you to use towards a loan program or to help you with closing costs, you're asking them to lower their purchase price by that amount or by their sales price by that amount. So in this case, if it was $1 million home and you wanted to get a $20,000 2-1 buy down from them, it would reduce their sales price to $980, an effective net sales price to $980. So anyway, I just wanted to go into that a little bit, but also, if you're a seller on the market, don't be surprised if a buyer does not approach you with wanting a 2-1 buy down. For one thing, a lot of the builders are offering it. Builders sometimes are even doing more than just a 2-1 buy down. Some of them are purchasing the interest or buying the interest rate down permanently or doing 10 years. So very interesting programs out there by builders, lenders right now. But 2-1 buy downs for a buyer, what that means is the first year you get 2% off your interest rate. So if your interest rate is 8%, your first year's payment would be based on an interest rate of 6%. And then the second year...
Let's back up for a second here, Kat.
Sure.
Let's say that the interest rate was actually 6.99%.
Okay, let's do 7%.
And then you got 2% off of that.
Okay. So let's say your interest rate is 7% instead of that nasty 8% that we've been talking about. And interest rates have ticked back a tiny bit. So let's take that scenario. So let's say you get a 30-year fixed at 7%. Then your first year's payment with a 2-1 buy down would be based on an interest rate of 5%. Now that sounds a little more palatable. So, and then your second year of mortgage payments would be based on a rate of 6%. And then going forward, 3 years and forward, you would be paying the full 7%. So
if you haven't refinanced before then.
If you have not been able to refinance before then. And if there's anything left when you are refinancing, let's say you refinance sometime before the end of that 2-year period, if there's any of that money left over, that money can be used towards paying for your refi. And that's the beautiful thing about a 2-1 buy down, is it is actually a pot of cash for you to utilize to help you make your payments. So it doesn't go away until you use it up. And I think that's the beauty of a 2-1 buy down. And it's one of the reasons I really like my buyers to utilize that as a tool to help them with the payments for the first couple of years. It's essentially putting that amount of cash back in your pocket. And so I do love that. I think 2-1 buy downs are a great way to go. And honestly, and usually 2-1 buy downs are also less than the amount of a price reduction for your average seller in Snohomish or King counties.
Right.
So if it's only costing the seller $15,000 to $20,000, that's a lot better than a price reduction.
Yes.
So
definitely.
It can be an absolutely amazing tool. I'm having my buyers use it frequently. Occasionally we'll take that money that was meant for a 2-1 buy down and we'll buy down the rate permanently if that helps them with their ratios. But it just depends on the situation as to what's the better route for you.
Let me throw 2 cents in there.
Yep, Dan, the floor is yours, man. Go for it.
If you need,
by the way, we're cutting into my Maker's Mark time. No, I'm just kidding. Did I say that?
Well, I'll be quick. I've been talking fast all day.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing he was talking over me. You guys didn't even hear that, did you?
But if you need help with the ratios, let's say you got 2 points, right? The best way to get help with the ratios is to go into a 5-year FHA arm and buy that arm down, because they're going to count that lower rate. That's the way to help with the ratios.
So they will count the buy down rate with a 5-1 arm.
You do a permanent. You buy it
down. You buy the 5-year rate down.
Correct.
Oh my gosh! How much can you get it down? Is it very expensive? Dang it, Dan.
I knew you were going to ask me that question. I'm not ready for that answer.
You don't have that answer off the top of your head? Oh, dang.
No, I don't.
I caught you with your pants down.
You did, kind of. But
I don't think I should say things like that.
Well, life happens. So anyway, but I was running those numbers. It's a much better way to do it if you need help with your ratios.
Right, and I got it. And to be fair, Dan, I bought my house. What was it? 25 years ago on a 5-1 arm, and it went perfectly. I got a better rate. It was fixed for 5 years. By the time it ended, the rates had come down, and my payment went down. So I didn't even bother to refinance. I just paid the lower payment. So now I'm on a variable, and interest rates weren't going anywhere. They were very stable and going down. So I just waited for a while until they got down low enough where I thought it was worthwhile to refinance. But it worked out great for me.
Yeah, it's an option out there.
I don't mind a 5-1 arm gives you a fixed rate for 5 years. 5 years is a long time. Yes. I get it goes by quickly, but it is a long time for the government to mess with interest rates.
Yes. Well, the thing it does, it buys you time. As opposed to like a 2-1 buy down, you've got the first year at a lower rate, and then the second year at a lower rate, and then year 3 you're back up to say 7%.
Yeah.
Right? Where here you're going to be at this point. That's right. Whereas the FHA is going to be on a 5-year arm. It's going to be in the mid 5s. when you're looking at a comparable buy down. The amount of money.
It would be really fun if you could tell, like, next time, if we, we go on air, like, we could base it on, like, an $800,000 loan or whatever that's realistic for FHA, right? And talk about how much it would cost to buy that down.
We should do this on this live stream, but I closed the browser.
You closed the browser.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Yes.
No, you weren't expecting that question, I would guess.
Came from left field.
I like to do
but
that.
I was partially prepared.
Yeah, I like to keep you off balance.
Well, we ran those numbers about a week and a half ago. Because I was, you get desperate to throw out some good news. So you're talking, an FHA 5-year ARM at less than 7% at the time.
Right.
And but we added it then, and it came down, but more than a point. And the important thing is the buy
would look
down
so
rate.
attractive. That would look so attractive right now.
Right, you're in the mid fives. Easy, probably low fives.
Without doing a buy down.
Well, using the same money that you would normally use for a buy down,
gotcha. Right.
You apply the exact same money into a permanent interest rate reduction.
Right.
But it's only amortized over 5 years.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of bang for your buck.
Gotcha. Yep.
If that makes sense.
Yes. So, do you want to talk about timing the market, Dan?
Yes. But let me see if I actually have the slide for timing the market. Let's see what we've got here.
You should. I sent you the intra-year appreciation
We got
table.
it. We got it. Hang on.
This is fascinating, you guys. I'm actually going to show you
Here we
TikTokers.
go.
I want to show you this table, this chart I made.
It's on the screen, Kat.
I know, but TikTokers can't see it, so give me a second here. I just wanna...
okay.
So let's see. This is 2012 on this side, and this is 2023 over here. And this is showing appreciation for the years, and this is price per square foot, and it shows you the appreciation difference between January and June. So this table, which is entitled King County Intra-Year Appreciation, January through June 2012 through 2023. And for King County, the average appreciation between January and June over that 12-year stretch is 12.7%. Now, that's a big number. In addition, 10 out of 12 of those years, actually I think it was 11 out of 12 of those years, it was over 10% difference between January and June. The reason I'm mentioning this is because I want buyers out there and sellers as well to understand that the market has a regular cycle. We have a tendency for pricing to fall summer into fall and into the very first part of winter, and then for it to suddenly reverse trend and start the average price to start going up again. And you can look at average pricing, you can look at median pricing, you can look at price per square foot. They all trend in the same directions. So you get what looks like kind of a bell curve. So it's interesting to note that it's an average of 12.7% in King County. That's a huge number because our average sales price in King County is $1,128,558, which equates to, and I'll be exact here. Whoops, what did I do?
It's about 140,000, isn't it?
It's actually a bit more than that. I have it written down. It's $143,326 in King County. So listen, you guys, that's a huge number, and that's an average. That's not me taking the low of the year and looking at the high of the year, because in some of those years we had more appreciation than 12.7%. This is just the general cycle of the market. So if you are looking to buy a home, the reason I'm bringing it up now is late October, November, well, it's already November, but late October, November, and December are times in the market when it's a great opportunity for buyers to get a good value. So my very last listing, my very last buyer got under contract on a listing in Arlington, and actually our our appraisal came back higher than what my buyer is paying for the property. And we have tacked on quite a bit of money on top of that, and actually the appraisal came in over that as well. So we've got over $20,000 tacked on the top of the sales price. And we still got an appraisal that was higher. So what I'm trying to explain to you guys, and I have this happen every fall and winter, is that my buyers actually we can get a good value for you. And so it may not be the low of the year, which you would get more towards the end of December, but you still have choices now. So when we get down towards the end of December and first week of January, most of the properties are going to be snapped up. There's just not that much inventory right now. And so now is a great time to jump in the market and try to buy a home. It is probably the best time we'll see going forward for quite some time. That's my opinion. That's my belief. Snohomish County had a similar trajectory. I believe their average was just about 10%. It might have been a tad less. And that was, again, looking at the data from January, average price per square foot, January through June of each respective year, 2012 through 2023. So Snohomish County looking very similar, just a little bit lower appreciation, but not much. And it's sizable, right? Because average sales price in Snohomish County is roughly 900 something. So that's going to equate to almost $100,000 difference. So think of it, if you were going to buy a flip, for instance, or you were just going to buy a house, 900,000, and then you turn around and you could sell it for 990 or $1 million 6 months later. Well, in Snohomish County, you would just about break even because the cost of selling a home is 9%, right? But in King County, on average, you'd make money every year if you did that. So I'm not suggesting anybody do that. That sounds like a lot of work, and you're going to have holding costs, etc. But the thing of it is that if you can time the market, it can make $100,000 or $150,000 worth of difference on what you pay for that home. And so I think it's worth considering. I think anybody who has the luxury, anyone who has the luxury of timing the market right now, jump in. Let's start looking, and let's get you into something before January 1st, because January 1st, things start to shift quickly. Sometimes we have until the third week of January. Last year it was actually, we may have gotten through the first weekend without a bunch of multiple offers, but after that, all hell broke loose, and I don't mean a little bit of hell. So anyway, just food for thought. I think that, I know it's not ideal to try to time the market for a family, so maybe you don't do it then. If you're buying and you're selling in the same market, you're fine. Because if you're selling in a high market, you're buying in a high market. If you're selling in a lower market, you're also buying in that lower market. So that's fine. I'm talking about people that are going to do one or the other. So if you're going to purchase a home and you're a first-time home buyer and you don't have a home to sell, this is a great time to get in the market. If you are moving from another state, and whether you've just sold a home or not, this is a good time to buy. If you are a seller, my opinion is that if you have the luxury of timing the market, I would have you wait until April to May, with April, the third week in April, being the ideal time to sell in the Western Washington real estate market. So get the most money for your home in the shortest amount of time. There's the least amount of competition, theoretically speaking. So when I'm talking about timing the market for buyers, I'm talking about buyers buy now. Interest rates being high, irregardless. We're hoping that interest rates will come down and you will be able to refinance at some point and maybe be able to utilize the 2-1 buy down to kind of soften that impact up front. Or, like Dan suggested, getting a 5-1 arm and then maybe buying that down. Have the seller contribute to some reducing the interest rate with a buy down of your 5-year arm, your 5-1 arm. So that's also a good strategy. That way you get your interest rate bought down for a full 5 years instead of just the 2-1, the 2 years. time frame.
Yep.
So anyway,
Yeah.
just food for thought. I
Go
mean, if
for
you're
it.
a seller, if you're a seller in this market and you actually can wait until April, you're probably going to get between 5 and 10% more for your home if you wait until April or May to put it on the market. And I don't know who can't use that 5 or 10% unless you just can't float the house for that period of time. But that's my recommendation. And that's my recommendation across the board when I meet up with sellers right now. So if you're buying and selling, again, in the same market, doesn't matter. Then now is a good time to sell because it's been a good seller's market for new listings coming on the market. It's just not a good market for sellers if you've been on the market more than 14 days. It gets squishy. We were looking at, my daughter and I were looking at, just a quick story time, Dan. So my daughter and I were looking at, we're pulling comparables for a home that she's getting ready to list. These people want to put in a contingent offer. And so we were kind of just looking at what else is for sale over there in Kitsap County, Port Orchard area in the 600s, lower 6s, upper 5s. And I got to tell you, when we looked at actives, there's quite a few actives, and then we included pendings. And I got to tell you, I had to go pretty far away. I had to stretch that diameter of that circle quite a ways away from the subject property to get any pendings to show up. And they weren't even in that price range, which is terrifying when you're going to list a house. There's no pendings in that price range, but there's quite a few actives in that price range. The beautiful thing is, Michelle has a Rambler that she would be looking at putting on the market, and Ramblers will almost always sell. They appeal to the entire market of buyers almost universally, and there are some people that absolutely are waiting for that Rambler to come on the market, and they will be very pleased when she gets it on the market. And I would say she'd probably get it sold within 14 days. So, and they'll get their, her buyers will be able to get their contingent offer, go straight to pending, and they'll get to move on and get their current home sold.
Nice.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of a cute little story. And I kept saying, honey, I don't see any yellow on the screen. She's like, Mom, shut up. I kept ribbing her that there weren't any pendings. That's kind of mean, isn't it? We were laughing.
Goodness. Okay, let's move on to does cash flow.
Is that where we're at next, Dan?
That's where we're at next.
This is what Dan's been waiting for. Dan wants to talk about this. This is important stuff. So I found this duplex over in Bremerton. I believe it's still on the market. I'm not sure. I didn't double check today. But the list price is $450. And it has a fair amount of income. So the income is, let's see, what is it per month? I have it down here. So they're getting $3,600 a month in rents, which makes your gross income for the year $43,200. So let's just run through a scenario, right, Dan? So let's say you put 30% down, that'd be $135,000. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. We're running the loan at 8.5%, just because that's where interest rates had been, and it's investment property, so they're going to be a little bit higher. So let's just use 8.5%.
Okay.
So your payment would be $2,422 a month, and that's principal and interest. So with a grossing, and then let's just run through the expenses. So this is just some average expenses that you guys can, watch out for, right? You're going to have property taxes. Property taxes of $29.89 on this one. Insurance, seems kind of low, $715. I got to tell you that feels light in the loafers to me. But you could put in your own number in there. I would feel more comfortable with $1,200.
Yeah.
So repairs, $1,200. That's $100 a month. That's not much. It depends on how good a condition the home is in. So that's something you'll be able to tell during the inspection. Water, sewer, garbage is kind of high on this one, $27.99 a month or a year. So, and again, that $1,200 was for the whole year, right? So water, sewer, garbage, $27.99 for the whole year. So the total, and then I don't like to leave out management fees, because I always recommend that my investors in Washington State do have a property management service to handle the tenants and, raising rents, getting them released, handling move-outs. I just think it's really wise. This is Washington is a very, very tenant-friendly state, which necessarily means it's landlord averse. So
Never mind. I won't say that.
So the total expenses are $12,004 for the year.
Yes.
Your net operating, let's see. Yeah. So your net operating income would be $31,116. And then you subtract out your annual debt service, and that your pre-tax cash flow would be $2,131. So it doesn't sound super exciting, but once you run it for after-tax cash flow, it looks a bit different. So let's look at that. So here's my APOD, which is just my income and my expenses, giving me my net operating income. And let's see here. So here we go. So the after-tax flow calculation. So I took a person having a tax rate of 15%. So everybody's going to be in a different tax bracket. So you'd have to run it for that. And I'm not an accountant, but I just thought it's interesting when you're looking at investment property to at least be able to say, hey, listen, talk to your accountant, but it looks like this cash flow is a little bit better when we take into account depreciation, right? So what we ended up with after-tax cash flow, we ended up at $11,156. So that starts to look pretty attractive to me as an investor. I like that because that looks like almost $1,000 a month positive. So if you've got a repair or something that comes up, you can handle that. So, yeah, I mean, and then we even account, so the next year I threw in $3,600 in vacancy. So assuming each unit is vacant for 1 month, or two, or one of them's vacant, and it costs a total of $3,600. And so I threw that in year 2, and I came up with after-tax cash flow of $8812, so $8,812. And then year 3, without vacancy, again, it's a duplex. People aren't going to move every year. We had $9,539. And so what that does is it takes into account the depreciation and the interest, your annual debt service is what that does when you're looking at after-tax cash flow. So very interesting numbers. There's another thing I wanted to mention on this one. So the internal rate of return was pretty good. The IRR was actually, I think it was like 18%. I wanted to look at that really quick. So let's see. Where is it? I know it's right here. I know I printed it out. Stretch APOD. I miss it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so using those same numbers and a vacancy in the second year, we had after holding it for 4 years, so I ran it holding it for 4 years, we had an internal rate of return of 18.53% and a modified internal rate of return of 18.32%. So the modified internal rate of return is something you use when you need to verify the internal rate of return. So if your internal rate of return looks like it's in the 40s or they're really super high, you might want to run the modified internal rate of return just to make sure that it's a valid number. And in this case, it supports it 100%. Mr. Fat Tuesday has a little bit of something to say to people today. So that's that one, Dan. Did you have stuff you want to add to that? Mr. Fat Tuesday has something he'd like to add before you do. This is Mr. Fat Tuesday. He is an 18-month-old Havanese, and his name is Mr. Fat Tuesday, and he doesn't know much about TikTok, but he is a TikTok star. He's created a new sport in the world of sports called bowl surfing, haven't you? And he does it quite well. He does it to music. He's broken several bowls. Bowl surfing. And he's been filmed while perusing around in the mall at Alderwood, playing with other dogs, and those films have made it to TikTok. So I think we clearly have a rising star on our hands here, Mr. Fat Tuesday, my darling little Havanese, and he has a lot to say sometimes.
He's quite the dude.
He's so handsome, I can't even help it. I can't even. I just can't. I can't even handle it. Him, baby, so handsome. He's a wiggler. He's so wiggly. You wiggly, buddy. Okay. All right. So let's see if Dan. Let's see if Dan has anything to add to this. I think I came across what
is basically just if it pencils now, or if it cash flows now, it's going to cash flow. Rates can be refinanced.
You know, Dan, you just made it a fantastic remark there, because if and this is what I tell my investors, if we could get the property to cash flow at 8.5% interest, imagine what will happen when interest rates drop. You know, it could be just a few years where we can refinance into something more like a 6% or 6.5% interest rate. If that happens, they may actually have appreciation at that point, because let's face it, multifamily values are directly tied to interest rates,
cash flow,
how much you get for rental rates, and also if interest rates come down, that causes the multifamily to go up in value. It's a direct correlation. Yep. So, you know, so at that point, you may have enough appreciation that you could pull out a cash out refi and take that the money that you get out of it, and hopefully you can still make it pencil well, and reinvest that in another multifamily, which is how people gain wealth, right? So
that's right.
But anyway, so yeah, Dan and I just want to mention that, you know, when we're running these numbers for investors, we're happy to see if it breaks even at 8.5%, and that's usually doing like a 25% down. Not always. I have clients that would rather put 30% down, or the loan requires them to put 30% down, and so, you know, we'll run it that way then. But when you've got an internal rate of return of over 18%, and you've got a pre-tax or an after-tax cash flow of almost $1,000 a month, I just think that's gold.
There's a lot you can do with something like that.
I think that's good. I think almost $1,000 a month after-tax cash flow, you know, it can make up for a few sins during the year. If for some reason you had a unit go empty and you had to make a few repairs, it wouldn't take too long to amass a little bit of capital there to absorb any issues that went wrong, you know, and they would be unforeseen, because you'd have an inspection going in, and hopefully nothing too major would go wrong in that first couple of years.
If you're able to do a little cash out, you could do like a Maker's Mark fund.
Oh, a Maker's Mark fund? How fun would that be?
Like divert some money.
Convert some money into Maker's Mark?
Yeah, just send it right over to the Maker's Mark fund.
What a good idea.
Yeah.
I'll set one of those up, Dan.
It's an
you know,
idea.
So you know what? I'm doing something kind of special this year. I haven't done this before, and I wanna give a big shout out to the Snohomish Pie Company. They're not giving me any special pricing, but I am going to be giving away their pies for Thanksgiving. And so, but I love them so much that I will pay retail. So what I'm doing is it's called the amazing, so Cat's Amazing Thanksgiving Pie Giveaway. And I'm sending out invitations tomorrow. I couldn't quite get them done today. Tried very hard. But they're going to go out tomorrow. They're going to have a QR code. They're going to go to all my clients, buyers, sellers. Everybody's going to get an invitation that's anywhere within probably 50, 60, 70 miles of Snohomish, Woodinville area. And I'll have a little QR code on there. You just take a picture of the QR code with your cell phone, and it'll take you to a special website I designed on Canva, and you'll be able to pick your pie. So it'll ask you for your name, and guys don't have to leave me your phone number or your email address. I have that. So if you put your name there, as long as I know who you are, just pick your pie. So you can pick pumpkin or apple on the website, but I will tell you, I can have up to 4 varieties with the deal I have going with Snohomish Pie Company. So if you buy in bulk, they'll allow you to order a bunch of pies, and you can have up to 4 varieties. So you can order cherry or pecan as well. So I just want to put that out there, that I'm doing that as a client appreciation thing for my clients that I've been working with for years and years. So some of my people have been clients of mine for 25 years, 24 years. So pretty exciting. I hope to get to see some of those faces before Thanksgiving. I'm going to have, I'm going to arrange to pick up the pies on Tuesday morning, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And I will be at my office from 3 to 6 p.m. that Tuesday for people to come pick up their pies. Now, if they can't come pick up their pie that they've ordered, one of two things can happen. I could try to deliver it to them or meet them somewhere or take it to their house, right? Or we could donate it to a charity or a good cause. We could take it to a retirement home. There are also some group homes very near me that I could also donate your pie to if for some reason that you can't get it. Also, I'd be happy to make a donation of $30 to the Windermere Foundation in your name if you decide not that you don't need a pie or you don't want a pie. I want you to have a pie because I want to see you. This is going to be so much fun for me, you know, getting to see my clients and hopefully giving them something of value. I love Snohomish Pie Company pies. I'll never forget the peach pie I had not very long ago, and it was just mouth-watering.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
Makes me feel very excited to give away a pie from Snohomish Pie Company, right? Because it's just, that's something, you know? It's not something that you just get every day, you know, or you go seek out. So I thought it was kind of fun. And another one of the gals in my office said she used to do that down in Arizona years and years ago. And I'm like, you know, that's just such a good idea. I just want to do that. I've had such a good last couple of years, and I'm very blessed in this industry and wanted to, you know, do something for my clients that was a little bit unique. You know, I know other agents do it, but I think it speaks to my heart. I love doing stuff like that.
That's a wonderful thing. That is beautiful.
Isn't that cool, Dan?
It is.
I'm so excited. I can't tell you. I mean, I've been working on this thing. I'm just trying to get my database together and get the invitations to the people that, you know, are within the right radius of where I live that would be practicable for them to actually receive a pie. And so anyway, it's pretty exciting. But I'm pumped. I mean, it's gonna create a little havoc during Thanksgiving week because I usually cook. I usually cook on Wednesdays, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I think it's going to go great.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm having fun putting it together, and I'm looking forward to hearing from all my clients.
Awesome.
Really looking forward to that. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. On that up note, it's getting dark.
It's getting dark, Dan. I mean, you can't even see me on yours. At least on TikTok one, I don't know why TikTok's screen is brighter, but yeah, I still look pretty good. I don't look too dark on the TikTok. And I don't know how they do it.
On the live stream.
Do I look good?
A little dark. Yeah.
I look almost black and white on mine. Oh, you know why? Because my battery's running low on my laptop, so we just barely made this.
We just barely made it.
I'm gonna say goodbye on TikTok. Hey guys, sorry I can't see you guys when I'm doing these. It's because my phone is behind my laptop because we're doing simultaneous streaming. But hey, thank you for joining. And we try to do this on Tuesdays, not Friday. Anyway, see you later. Bye.
And I'm going to end the stream here on Facebook.
Okay, sounds good.